Okay.
All right. Hey, we're here. Guys, cheers. I can't believe this. Muriel doesn't have a drink in her hand.
That's a first.
That's a first. Okay, here we go. More on our series of talking to real people who do real boating. And these are real sailors here too, by the way. Now, you know, we have a little bit of a script. Can I have that paper? Thank you. And, you know, on it here it says, well, type of boater, a live-aboard, part-time live-aboard, weekend cruiser, part-time cruiser, weekend warrior. And Denny says, well, I don't know, what are we? I don't know, that's what we're trying to figure out, for crying out loud. But let's seriously though, this is going to be a lot of, these guys are a lot of fun here. I'm going to get out of the camera. I'm going to switch it around so you can look at them as they try to explain a little bit about what they do and why they do it. All right, so now we're back to it here, guys. Let's start off with how often do you come to the boat, or first of all, how far do you live from the boat?
We live 106 miles, and it takes us 2 hours to get here.
All right, so you're outside of Philly?
Outside of Philly, yes.
All right.
Phoenixville area.
And how often do you come down then?
Every weekend.
Regardless of the weather?
The weather's always
hell
great.
or high water.
The weather's always great in Rock Hall.
Good. It is.
Yes.
Well, let's start off with a little bit about how you got into boating. And is this your first boat?
This is our first boat, yes.
Did you go boating with other people before you bought this boat?
We have some friends that lived out by us. We live out in the country, northern Chesapeake Bay. They had a sailboat. They moved to Rock Hall.
Give them a plug.
David and
Sherry and David.
Sherry and David. And they invited us to come down and spend an overnight on their sailboat. It was a 34 Pearson. A little tight, narrow. We liked it. It was something that we
You
could...
got behind the helm. Done.
Yes. And then the next year came and we went out 2 weekends with them. And then I think the next year we went one time and we decided...
We bought the boat.
I thought Muriel said we should have our own boat.
I did not say that.
Well, that's what I heard. So we started looking for a boat.
No, he was obsessed, and he only knew one word. Boat.
So so I started looking. We started talking to people, and we needed to narrow it down on what type of boat to get. Muriel felt that an island packet was something that we couldn't afford, so she said that's what I want, which would have not allowed us to get one. And then we started looking, and we found one here right in Rock Hall that some other people had looked at, and they said, if you're going to buy a boat, buy this one.
Now, what is this boat?
Oh, this is an Island Packet 350, and I believe this is the perfect boat for 2 people. It has everything, has heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, has a flat screen TV.
Oh, there you go. What engine do you have in this?
This is a 38 horse Yanmar, which pushes this boat over 6 knots with no sail up. It's very economical, uses about half a gallon of diesel per hour. Last year, 2017, we used 80 gallons of fuel, all from start to finish. And we use our boat every weekend. We take it out, we go places, Annapolis, Baltimore, St. Michael.
Now, did you go ahead?
We had a lovely sail today with you two.
Yeah, we did. We got guys. We went out. Sherry and I went with them. And for those of you who follow the channel, you know Sherry doesn't sail much, but she had a good time. didn't you?
Yes, it was fun.
Okay,
It was.
all right.
It was.
Now, when you started looking at the boat, was there any particular criterias that you had in mind? Space, sailing ability, whatever. What were your criteria?
Well, we didn't have any sailing ability, so we didn't know. But I look at this as function. What are you going to do? I mean, if you're going out in the ocean, this is a good boat. This boat's been to Bermuda. If you're going to stay in the bay, this boat is a little bit slow, but it's comfortable. And when it gets rough out there, and it does get rough out in the bay, this is a good boat to have.
Now, how many years have you guys had this boat?
This is our 11th.
11th year, yes. And I've been very happy with it.
Safety, huge.
It's safety. It's very
Okay.
safe. It's very forgiving, especially when you've never had a boat. A lot of people have been raised on the water and stuff like that. I believe I got this boat because I retired, and then it was something that we could do together. The people that you meet are unbelievable.
But now you've had your kids here and the grandkids here, and there's plenty of room on board.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There's 2 staterooms. Everything opens up here in the galley, and you can sleep 3 or 4 more people.
We've had 9 sleep on
We've
it
had
when
9.
we first got it.
Now, I
2
mean,
in the
like
cockpit.
the son-in-laws and that, they can sleep in the dinghy, right? Or do you
Right,
let them
we
on
put them
board?
there. Yeah, we put them there.
Now that they're officially son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws.
Oh, okay.
Before that, we didn't leave and let them on.
On the bay, you do have a lot of other experience besides the bay, but where do you guys like to cruise?
Well, we've taken the boat to New Bern, North Carolina for the winter. Tied it up down there.
Now, Muriel, did you go on that trip?
Yes,
You were on the boat for that?
yes.
Okay.
I don't
See,
go.
Sherry,
I don't
you can
go.
do it.
I don't go anywhere without her.
I
Yeah.
didn't bring it home.
She didn't bring it home. I had to bring it home with my son,
Right.
my youngest, and a buddy of his.
But we like to go to Annapolis and St. Michael's,
St. Michael's. Our favorite places are Annapolis and St. Michael's.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
I would love to get to Maine someday. I'm not to Maine, to Block Island.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to go through New York Harbor, but
Okay.
need some time for that.
Yeah, we need a little more
New
time.
York Harbor is rough. The ferry boats, they've got schedules to keep, and they're just going.
Yeah.
Need our son-in-law on that one.
Yeah.
Our son-in-law actually grew up on a sailboat up in Raritan Bay, which is right across from the Statue of Liberty, and he's an excellent sailor. But he also is. I keep saying, come and take the boat, but he won't do that. I think he's afraid if something happens. Well, things happen all the time to me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I think if we get him on the board, we can go up to Block Island.
Yeah.
And,
Now, what about going south, like to Portsmouth and Norfolk and things like that, just for like a weekend cruise or something? Do you guys, or a week-long cruise?
Yeah, it takes too much time. So we went to New Bern, North Carolina. We did the Intercoastal. We went into Solomons. We just don't have the time. We both still work some, and so you really need to block a lot of time to do that. So that's why we don't do it.
Okay.
yeah, if it takes you an hour to drive somewhere, it takes you all day in this sailboat.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
You're not going far.
What are some of the key things that you like about the boating lifestyle?
I love being on the water.
Yeah.
I like being rocked to sleep. I love waking up in the morning and I can look at the bay. It's awesome.
And
It's a good life. It's a sweet life to be around nature, to wake up and hear all that. Not the same as being indoors.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a beach house, so we know what it's like to be at the beach. But this is different. This is camping on the water, the people that you meet. Everybody starts off, they love water. Then they love boats. And then they have power boats or sailboats, big ones or small ones. All you have to do is mention that you have a boat, and people will start telling you how much they love their boat. People say, the two best days when you get a boat is when you get it and when you get rid of it. Well, I don't agree with that. I think when we get rid of this boat, it's going to be a sad day.
I agree with you, Denny.
We've had a lot of fun on this, met a ton of people that we still talk to. And they've grown old and gotten out of boating and stuff like that. But I think this is and it's something that a couple can do, because you really need two people, and neither one of us. If you turn the camera around, you'd see Sailing for Dummies. The book's right there. I refer to it many times.
Right there. It's right there.
So, we're not. Look, you see all the little markers there. We don't. We really we never had a canoe, and we started out with a 35-foot, 10-ton island packet.
Well, that's an interesting point, because one of the things that I think people want to know is, what's your advice for somebody trying to get into boating? And just a quick interjection. I had a friend, Sal, and he always told me, buy your second boat or buy your second airplane first, because you will outgrow your first one quickly.
I agree.
We got that advice. That's
Yes.
why we got a 35-foot before we...
Never buy the boat you can afford, never buy the airplane you can afford. And I've been involved in both of them. So, if you buy the boat you can afford, it's going to be smaller, it's going to be slower, it's not going to have everything you need. Buy the next size boat up, because that's the one you could keep. Like I say, I think the 35 is the boat for a couple. You can buy a 420, a 380, or the 465 island packet, and they're very expensive. I mean, this was expensive. It's expensive to maintain and stuff like that. But people say, do I need a 420? No, I have the 350, and we know people that have a 420 who had a 350, and he would tell you to this day, Jack Povey, the 350 is the boat.
Yeah.
Because you don't use it.
Yeah. Sometimes bigger is just bigger.
It's just bigger, right?
Yeah.
And it costs more and everything else. But
now, what are some of the things that, if there is anything, and I know this is a loaded question for Muriel, what don't you like about boating?
Being towed in a storm at night. And listening to everything crash below except the Crown Royal.
Yeah. That doesn't happen often. One time in 11 years.
Yeah.
It's always different. And, I come from an aviation background, so you have to check weather. And I think that's the most important thing. And I always say, anytime you can go in and get a license with no training or anything, all you have to do is pay attention about that license. And that's how boating is. Anyone can go buy a boat. It doesn't matter. You can buy a big boat or a small boat, whatever. But you have to pay attention. If you pay attention, you're going to do just fine. And if you pay attention to weather, it'll be boring, because that's usually where things start to go awry. The weather changes. You knew it was going to change. Mm-hmm. We've gone south on the bay.
Not necessarily. We've gone out on the most beautiful days, and we've ended up with storms that came up.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't like.
If you leave Rock Hall, you know that 16 hours later you got to cross the Potomac. And when you cross that Potomac, if you're not paying attention to the tide and the wind, it's going to be the worst day of your sailing. And we've done it. Mm-hmm. The boat and this boat is like a cork in the water when you're not ready for it, and you pick the wrong day, or you think you're going to get past it, and it comes an hour earlier and you're an hour later because you didn't get out on time because you're talking to Dom.
Turn around. Don't keep going.
Turn around. Don't push it. That's my advice to anybody that
You can't have a schedule.
No, especially with a sailboat. If you have a power boat, you can outrun a storm. But in a sailboat, you can't.
Oh, no, you can't. No, we've been in the power boat and we couldn't outrun it.
Well, you can get a lot closer than we can.
Yeah. But I do agree with you, Denny and Muriel. It is a nice lifestyle. There is a learning curve. There's getting used to a few things. Space, no matter how big somebody told me this, and they had an 80-foot motor yacht. There is never really enough space once you get mad at each other. If you start an argument. And so he said, the thing to do is don't argue with each other. Learn to get over it quickly.
Well, what do you always say about we should have gotten a sailboat?
I was just going to say that. I think that it's a great thing to do before you have kids, because you learn to work together, because you have no choice. And when you've already raised your kids and you do it, you're like, shoot, all this stuff would have really helped about 35 years ago.
So it kind of what would be your key advice for somebody? If you had like 2 or 3 points, if somebody's thinking about doing it, what would you recommend them to do?
You have to have the physical ability to do it.
Okay.
So you can't wait too long to do what you want to do. Again, you can't keep a schedule. You take it.
You have to have time.
You have to have money.
You have to have money. It's not cheap.
Even though you don't pay for fuel in a sailboat, you have to have money.
You know, things, Muriel always says there's always 5 things broken. So when I get down, I fix 3 of them, carry 2 more up to the next week, and then 3 more things, something happens. So, but these are all little things.
It's truly a mistress. It takes time and money, and that's why the boats are named after women, because they're mistresses.
I didn't name my boat after a woman. This is gratuity, because gratuity, the definition is an unexpected gift. We never thought we would ever have a boat. I retired, and then we sailed a little bit. We thought we liked it, and it's something that we can do together. And we've been married a long time. So I would say make sure you have time. There's nothing worse than a boat sitting in a slip and not having time to get down to it, because they are expensive. And if you don't use it, it just becomes a headache. So
and they deteriorate from lack of use.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they need to be taken out.
Every weekend, even if we're not going anywhere, we take the boat out. And many times we take the boat out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Even if it's just for a couple hours each time. And make sure you have some time. I'm not sure, and I know people won't like this, I don't think a boat is for animals. I don't think it's fair to the animals. I think it's, you have to stop, they have to do their business, all that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of people where it becomes an aggravation to have an animal on a boat, because you can only go so far. And then I think that young children could be, kind of a drawback on a boat, especially a sailboat, because it's not like you're going to be there in an hour or 2. I think sailing is for old people.
Here we are. And Denny, Muriel, I really appreciate you guys sharing your experience with everybody and allowing Sherry and I to come on board and talk to you about it.
And we appreciate you, Dom.
Yeah. We've known Dom for years, and
look at.
And we'll post some videos of Dom trying to back his boat in. And
well, no, don't watch those. No. Guys, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, and happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends. We hope to see you out on the water here.